Welcome to a pre-recorded episode of the Off the Wall Baseball Podcast here on Ellis Highlight Reel. I am your main host, Brandon Ellis, but my other main host on this is Chris, as always. Say what's up, Chris.
What's up, y'all? Hope you're having a good day. Hopefully better than Orioles and Red Sox fans are having right now.
Especially Orioles fans that just watched that bottom of the 10th inning. I'll get into it in a little bit. Gosh, that bottom of the 10th, you can't cover first. I will get into it. Let's start with a weird play though. Let's get it started from last night's action. There was a weird play at second base in the Cubs Mets game last night. I think it was Cubs Mets. Yeah, Cubs Mets. It was a walk to Bush, I think. And so Bush got the walk, but PCA was running on the pitch. It was a 3-2 count. PCA was running on the pitch automatically. So he was stealing the base, essentially, or going on the pitch. And the Mets catcher threw it down to second. And PCA overslit the base. They initially called him safe. PCA didn't know. Oh, that was ball 4. And it turns out the Mets challenged the play. We'll go on to challenge the result of the call out at second base. And it was a weird delay. The broadcasters didn't know what was going on. But the Mets ended up challenging the play at second. Mm-hmm. And it would come out to be overturned, and he's out at second because he overslit the base, and Bichette kept the tag on him at covering the bag. And my boss, who's an Orioles fan like I am, so he's not happy right now. It's gonna be an interesting day out in the field tomorrow. I tell you that. But anyway, he brought it up to me earlier today, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't see this." And apparently, so the ball is live on like it's live because a wild pitch, like you've seen wild pitches happen where runners go do first to third on a wild pitch on a walk. So it's still a live ball, and it's like if you stay at second and you don't overslide, you're granted the base. But if you overslide and they keep the tag on them, and that's what happened here. It's it's any base you go to, you're granted. But if you overslide or you're off the base, you're out somehow. So, and I feel like too, I think with the ABS system, if this year I've seen just throwing down. You know what I mean? I've seen it. I don't know if you have seen it in the games you watch, but I've seen a lot more catchers throwing down the second on like 3-2 counts or 3-1 counts or something because of the ABS. Trying to get you out at second. And if it's a 3-2 count or a 2-strike count or something like that, and it's a close call, they get to strike them out, throw them out. Kind of a situation. So what are your thoughts on that play last night? Because I'll have some thoughts after you go on that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a weird play, it's a weird play, because it just doesn't happen that often. And it was, you have the whole, walk and everything. But ultimately, the rule has always been if you, get off the base before the play is bone dead, you're out. I mean, we've seen all the time the fake ball hidden in the glove trick where the people get people out because they think they're okay and they wander off the base. I mean, it's the same, ultimately the same type of concept where, you've got to stay on the base regardless of what the situation is around you. Ultimately, that's the rule. Obviously, if it's a walk and you're just walking down to the base, you don't have to worry about sliding off of it, so you don't see that type of situation very much. But the fact is, he came off the base. It is the right call. It may not feel good, it may be a sucky situation for him. And, obviously Craig Counsell wasn't happy because he's going to argue for his players, Right. But at the end of the day, I actually think the umpires did get it right in this situation.
I forgot to mention that Counsell got ejected in the play too. I forgot about that. Yeah. So it's a good thing you brought up Council and naturally, and the discussion there. I think for me, when I first was thinking about it, I was like, huh, it's a weird situation, right?
Yeah.
With it. And as we and my chief were talking about it out in the field, like in the truck on lunch, we were talking about it. And as we got to thinking about it more and more, it was like, oh, okay, like it does make more sense why he's out there because it's a live ball. And he ended up looking it up. That is the rule. The ball is live still until So, um, so that was that. I was thinking, I'm like, when I looked at the replay, the Bichette's tag was on his, where he has his base running glove, like most players have now. That's where the tag occurred. So it was like, oh, okay, is he tagging him as he's going to the base on a walk, which that wouldn't be admissible because it's a ball four situation. I think, but apparently I think his right hand got on the base first. His outside hand.
Yeah.
Based on the replay. I saw. I think it was his outside hand that touched the base and then slid off, and Bichette maintained contact with the left hand, the mid hand. So that's what caused the review and what caused the overturn. So, with that being said, let's get into the Baltimore Orioles segment of the show.
Yes.
First with the good. They should have swept the Dodgers.
Yeah.
But as I'll get into with the Angels series, just about like 15 minutes started. More defensive lapses in bullpen situations. They lost Friday night because of Tyler O'Neill's incompetence in right field, and along with Brian Helsley in the bullpen. One of his first outings back in the bullpen, and it was a struggle for him against LA. But Tyler O'Neill throw at home to Basayo, and then Basayo, it took a funny hop on Basayo, and they got the ring. Dodgers got the winning run on Friday night. Then the Orioles proceeded to win the next two on Saturday and Sunday. I was like, okay, if they just win this Angels series, the momentum will be with them the rest of the way into the homestand against DC and so forth and so forth.
Yep.
Turns out they went the first game of the series against the Angels and then lose the last two. Now, the one yesterday was not even it was a 5-1 game. Boss had probably one of his worst starts as of late. Okay, that happens. The one today is in their control. They should not have lost this game today. First, I'm just gonna start with this. 8th inning, you give up 3 runs. You give up the 3 runs in the 8th inning, you're fine. And they forced extras. At least they forced extras. They didn't give up the walk-off. The momentum was, And Craig, as I have Craig Nabernaz on my TV right now. I have him muted because I want to keep this professional and not have audio blaring, and copyright and all that stuff. But I have Craig. He's probably coming up with like, oh, we were, some kind of Craig Abernathy answer, which is not going to satisfy most fans. No. It ain't going to satisfy me either once I hear or look at it. Because here's the thing. You get the lead back in the top of the 10th. Granted, they should not have sent Blaze Alexander on contact on Gunnar Henderson's ground ball. Granted, it worked for the Angels because the Angels – never mind. It worked for the Angels, which I'll get into that same similar concept.
Right.
But it didn't work for Baltimore because the pitcher made a great play. Glove hand, flipped the home, got Blaze out. I mean, it was a little bit more harder hit than the Angels situation that walked off the game. It was actually a chopper. Gunnar's was a chopper, like a pure top of he topped the ball and got a good hop. Yeah. And pitcher was able to field it. But Pete was able to get the RBI, bring home Ward, and Basayo strikes out. And Basayo had a 2 home run game, so I'm not going to harp on the kid too much here.
Right.
But I will harp on him on this. probably should have had a better reaction to the ball on the bunt there. And it could have been out of the baseline. I'm not 100% sure because he did kind of widen his turn, but home is different from other bases as well.
Right.
So it's like, the leeway there with the baseline rule. That's not the one where I'm gonna be mad.
Right.
Like, that was a fluky play to end it for the Angels. Congrats to Angels fans. But they should have lost the play before it. the play before it. Lefty and lefty matchup. You get a ground ball on the right-hand side of the field. Jeremiah Jackson does his job. Fields the ball. Now, his underhand toss to Aiken was horrible, but not great. That's because Aiken should not be covering the base there. It's the first baseman's responsibility. Anything hit to the second baseman needs to be Pete needs to get in the bag. And Pete has been great defensively this year. He could win his first Gold Glove this year. He could be a Gold Glove winner for the first time in his career because he's made great plays. He's been good defensively. But that was a mental lapse you would see when he was on the Mets. That's why the Mets got rid of him. There's stuff like that. And I love Pete Alonso, and I'm glad he's an Oriole, and I'm glad he's improved defensively. That was just one of those mental lapses, like, and he probably knows it. He knows it. And then, I'm blaming it on Pete. I'm not blaming it on Aiken. Like, I've seen fans on Twitter already blaming it on Aiken, and I'm like, I don't think it's Aiken's that one. I mean, Aiken was trying to cover the base for him in that situation. Yeah. But he should just, Pete should just known better. The way they were shaped defensively too. I would have played them like they played them normal depth. It seemed like I would play them in, and just make sure Pete was, or at least the corners in. Just at least make sure Pete was near the base, so you don't have that situation where it's just crazy to me that we lost this game on not spring training fundamentals. That's what it was. Spring training fundamentals lost the Orioles the game today. It's crazy. It's crazy. That's what mediocre teams do. I think the Orioles are a mediocre team.
I agree.
I hate to say it.
Yeah.
I mean, and the fact of the matter is they're still in the AL wildcard race. Somehow, some way.
There isn't a single team in the AL that's not in the AL wildcard race technically, right? I mean, if we're just looking at, literally the right now the worst team in the American League is only 6.5 games out
of the third wild card spot. Third wild card spot.
So crazy. Granted, they'd have to jump 12 other teams to get there, but the fact is, it's still only 6.5 games
for your Red Sox. Yeah, that's crazy. that's crazy. It's a crazy deal. I think Baltimore has a shot if they can if their bats stay hot and the pitching like that Dodgers series. That Dodgers series still has me optimistic about this Orioles season to make the playoffs. Yeah. But that making the playoffs is it. I think we lose in the wild card series if we do make it. Unless something really changes in July and August, because the games like this, like games like today, and games like in the Cleveland game earlier the year, the Boston 17-1 game. Trying to think a couple other games that happened
now, right? It was bad enough when it was. It was so much worse now.
Yeah. It is so much worse now. I mean, let's see. What I'm trying to think what it was. What other games that the tide shifted? Oh, there was one in the Blue Jays game where Gunnar got ruled out of the baseline. They let that up, It's just, I think there's too many emotional turmoil situations right now in Baltimore. It's just, games fundamentally are like you can't lose some of these games, and the one today is the one I threw my hat down. That's how mad I was. I was wearing my hat. I was getting ready for the show, and I had it on. I was oh shoot, they're in extras. All right, let me flip on extras. I was watching the World Cup when I got home. I didn't see the bottom of the eighth, where they gave it up. I'll probably go back and look at it later, but I just saw they gave up 3. I was like, all right, whoever gave up the 3, why? Why can't you get out of it? But the today, I mean, I'm rewatching the winning run situation with Basayo. It's crazy. It's a swinging bunt, and you have to have like. It's why I miss Rutschman. It's why I miss Adley Rutschman behind the dish, and he's on concussion protocol right now. I think Adley makes that play.
The V-end runs, by the way, were charged to Garcia.
Oh, Rico. Yeah, Rico's not been great for
us. But it looks like maybe Kittredge gave up some. Like it looks to me like Garcia came out and Kittredge
came in and gave up the run.
Runs in part. Because he was actually charged. Kittredge was actually charged with the blown save itself.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So and it ends up the Orioles ended up blowing the save twice.
Yeah.
In this game. With Aiken getting a blow to save himself. So but thank you for that. I do appreciate you pulling that up. But it goes to the saying, like Rutschman's the better defender of the two right now. Yeah. Samuel is young. He'll learn, but he got to get better. That has to be like, okay, we got to get his defense right. If Adley's out, because I mean that my ideal Orioles situations have Adley behind the dish and Samuel DHing. That's my ideal Orioles lineup is, Ward, Henderson, Rutschman hitting 3-hole, and then Pete, and then Basayo DH. And that's my ideal situation because we saw it today. Like Samuel is not as good a defender as Rutschman. And he's just not right now. He just the way he reacted and the way he tried, like he half lackadaisically went for the tag. He should have reacted quicker, got the ball, go back to home plate, like go turn him around. Instead he runs towards the runner, gets him the avoidance lane to avoid him. He should have turned, like kind of half turn himself, turned around, then tagged him, kind of a deal. So or block, not blocking the play, but you know what I mean. Like he had to get all starts with the reaction time. To be honest with you, with Samuel Basayo there, the reaction time wasn't great. Knowing the runner was going to run on any kind of contact, and that's what happened. I feel like it's a tough play, so that's why I'm not harping at it. I think it would have been a tough play for anybody to make. The way that ball came off I think it was O'Hoppy's bat. Way it came off there. So there's that. I think the Orioles are still in okay shape, even though they lost the series in the ages they shouldn't have. Granted, I guess that's the baseball gods evening it out against the Dodgers. Maybe should have lost the Dodgers series.
Well, it does help that the third wild card in the AL has a losing record right now. So that certainly does help. I mean, some mediocre team is going to make the playoff.
Right now, it's unless one of these teams gets hot.
I was going to say, well, the thing is, all 3 wild card teams are within two wins of 500. Yeah. So 3 teams realistically would have to get hot in order for. Oh no, sorry. Technically, Tampa Bay is a wild card team. I was looking more at Seattle, that's technically winning their division. Yeah. But still, 2 of the 3 wild card teams are pretty much right at 500. So there'd have to be a few teams going off in order to have the AL not look like complete dog water this year outside of the Yankees and Rays. And I mean, the Rays have been falling off a cliff recently. So who knows?
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm gonna look at the Orioles record right now.
Yeah.
After
I was
the
gonna say 38 and
43,
44 right
44.
now, and
Yeah,
Toronto is the third wild card at 39 and 40. So
yeah, that makes sense.
yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah,
So, and that series in Toronto probably would have gotten the O's closer to
hmm yeah,
that third wild card, and then this series definitely, if they won this series, they would in that Toronto series, they would probably be the third wild card right now.
yeah,
That's the difference right now with two series in Toronto, the series in Toronto and this series against the Angels.
yeah,
Um, those are the two that can't happen. And if everything else happened how it happened, like this, even the San Diego series at home, um, the shellacking happened and still how it happened. Um, I mean, and those two series outcomes change. Like you win the Toronto series and you win this Angel series, you might be in the wild card. You might be closer to the third wild card
yeah.
right now.
Well, and I mean, 5 teams of the AL all have 38 wins.
Yep.
The funny thing is just that they all have different amounts of losses.
Losses.
Also, that's the only reason why Baltimore is so far down on the list is you have 44 losses. Houston has 43. The Twins have 43. Texas has 42. The Athletics have 41. And then Toronto is the 39 and 40. But it's just funny how many teams have had so many different number of games played.
I think some of those games will some of those teams will it'll even out. I think
Yeah.
the Athletics I expect to be better than what they are. I honestly expect Houston to be better than what they are right now.
Mm-hmm.
So the Orioles have to get their shit together.
Yes.
I'll spell it out. I mean, it's my channel. It's not like it's the other channel. So that's the thing. So let's get into Chris's a little bit of stuff with the Red Sox to end this.
Speaking of falling off a cliff, the Boston Red Sox officially are tied for owning the least amount of wins in the major leagues this season, despite continuing to have a pretty solid pitching staff. Now, granted, today's pitching didn't go so well, but by and large, their pitching staff has been essentially what it was advertised to be. It's been one of the better pitching staffs in the league. Ranger Suarez has been fantastic. Sonny Gray has been great for the Red Sox. We've been able to weather the storm without Garrett Crochet, thanks to our young pitching and Peyton Toll and Connolly Early, holding down the fort there for the most part, but it's just been an unmitigated disaster on every other front. And it just continues. It continued into the Rocky series, who, by the way, are the only team in the MLB with a worse winning percentage than the Red Sox, and they just won a series against them. Obviously, the most painful one was the first game of the series where we had the lead. We had shut out the Rockies. Things were looking great, and Aroldis Chapman comes in and blows the save, reminiscent of, our 2, 3, 4 years ago of the Red Sox constantly blowing saves. We've had Chapman, in really not doing that. And granted, everybody's going to have a bad day. Mariano Rivera's blown saves, Jeff Hoffman blew saves. Everybody's blown saves. So it's not like, but it's just so tough when you're battling just to stay relevant, to have a game against the worst team in baseball and to blow a lead like that, and the way that it happened. Just so ugly, on so many counts, the way that went down, just it's similar to what you've got. It's just basic fundamentals that they just totally broke down. We came back and won the second game, and now today we had multiple leads throughout the game. Should have probably won this game, and then ultimately blew it late as well, and ended up losing 8-6. They're just not looking great. The bullpen seems to be tiring down, which makes some sense because, as with seems to be the pitching culture these days, you don't let your starters go very far. Your bullpen is getting overworked, you especially when you factor in, for a while with Bayo, when he was up here and sort of only going 4 innings and needing, openers and this and that. and playing around with that. That wears out the bullpen a bit. There's been also a slew of injuries here and there with the pitching staff that sort of altered all that, but they are looking more tired, and it's impacting late games, because we've had some leads recently and been blowing them. Not necessarily because of Chapman, more in those middle innings, but it's been brutal. And at this point, I mean, again, everybody in the AL is technically in it, right?
Yeah.
6.5 games is really not that much this late in the season.
Right.
That's not, you would see 5-6 games in other seasons and you'd be above 500 and you'd say, oh, that's, they'd be buyers, right? And Breslow's essentially come out and stated that we're not giving up on the season. We're still looking to add. But I just think when you look at the totality of what's going on, we might only be 6.5 games out. And statistically, especially on the pitching side, our staff should be good enough to be a playoff team, but it's just not working. And I get Breslow might be trying to save a job at this point. So most GMs that are trying to save their job aren't going to sell at a deadline. They're going to try to do everything they can to rattle off a little win streak or something and be able to try to argue their job to be safe for the next year. So that's probably what's going on here. But my gosh, does it feel like such a swing and a miss if we buy instead of selling at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
I just think we actually have assets that other teams would like that aren't part of the long-term future that we may not even need as soon as next year, and I imagine the haul that Aroldis Chapman presumably could get, especially given he has an option for next season too, right? Imagine the haul we could get. We're not going anywhere this year. We're just not. We don't need a 38-year-old closer, or however old he is now. I think he's somewhere high 30s for sure. He might be 38 or 37. But, we don't need that age of a closer, no matter how phenomenal he's been for us. And he has been. There's no question. I don't discredit him for the game he's played. He's been phenomenal. But we don't need that if we can get multiple pieces, especially offensive pieces, especially ones that are close to the majors, potentially, for a closer of that caliber. We don't need, Sonny Gray has been great for us. I don't knock Sonny Gray at all. He's been a phenomenal ad. But do we need aging Sonny Gray where we have all these pitchers in the pipeline and you could get something for him at the trade deadline? You know what I mean? Do we need – it seems like such an oversight if they end up buying and keeping all these aging players that could actually fetch a pretty decent return this season, especially because of the fact that the AL is so open right now, right? Yeah. There's going to be a ton of buyers in the AL. It's going to be a seller's market, right? Because every team is going to think like Craig Breslow. Oh, we're only 6 games out. We could buy and make a run, right? It's a seller's market, and to not capitalize on that when there's only, truthfully, probably 3 or 4 obvious selling teams right now in the league, in the Rockies, the Giants, maybe the Mets, and then you could probably look at the Angels, but I'm sure the Angels could even make an argument. I mean, they're better than the Red Sox right now. They can make an argument that they should still be competing. They're technically ahead of us. They have a better winning percentage. You
want to know something else too? I don't think Mike Trout played this series against the Orioles.
He did not. He's hurt. Yeah, he's hurt.
That is the craziest thing that the Orioles lost this series without Mike Trout.
Yeah.
It's so crazy to me. Like,
Absolutely.
Shoot, man. It's just, I can't get a break.
Yeah.
But since you brought up the Angels again, I just, I was like, wait, I don't think they had their best player. I just don't think
that's what, 5? Maybe you could argue the Royals and maybe even the Tigers. So maybe at most 7 clear sellers out of 30 teams. You know?
I think the Tigers are sellers because of Skubal.
Yeah.
I think that they want to get something.
That's my guess too. And I think the Royals, could go either way. After that, I think every team would either be buyers or they would mostly sit pat. Like the Reds, at 37 and 41 probably aren't buyers, but are they gonna? They're young. Are they gonna? Do they have much to really blow up? They can move a couple pieces here or there, but they're not major sellers. I mean, there's no, and obviously they could change over a month. I mean, things can change a little bit, but I just don't see a ton of sellers, and so for the Red Sox to not capitalize on that market would be really foolish, and it's why I think they should have fired Breslow, truthfully, because I think a new GM would come up and tear it up and want to get those prospects, want to go rebuild, get his guys, and I don't think Breslow is going to want to do that. And I think it's going to be a massive mistake. We're going to look back at this trade deadline and quite frankly, Breslow has not been good at trade deadlines the last couple seasons.
No.
He's been really, arguably horrible. Quite frankly, some of his worst trades, worst moves have been at the deadline. The Dustin May trade was a desperation trade.
That was desperation.
Totally ill-advised.
Look at Dustin May. Look at Dustin May down St. Louis. He's actually been okay for the Cardinals this year.
Has. Which is what's crazy too. I mean, for all that I talk about how phenomenal our pitching development has been, you look at some of the guys that have left. Kyle Harrison, Dustin May, and they've both gotten a lot better without us too. Yeah. So who knows? But that's my rant on the Red Sox. Hopefully something happens. There needs to be a major shakeup structurally from top to bottom by the end of this offseason. Kennedy needs to be moved into a different role. Breslow needs to be, if not moved into a different role, then gone completely. There just needs to be a total culture change. But we'll see if that happens or not. And hopefully they make it sooner than later.
And also for Baltimore too, I mean, they could sell but buy at the same because I think there's a likelihood that Taylor Ward gets traded. According to Jeff Passany, I think he's one of the ones on his list that had like above a 75% chance of getting moved. Was Taylor Ward. Now I wouldn't want to see that if they're pushing for a playoff spot because he's been our great leadoff hitter for us, the most consistent guy getting on base. In key moments. So that would suck if he does get moved. But it could happen. That kind of deal could happen. But I could see the Orioles being buyers somehow if they get hot and get that need pitching. And they could trade some of their prospects away and get a pitcher, like a big name pitcher. To front end that rotation. And even though Bradish has been great. I do like Young, Brandon Young in that spot in his role too. And so those two guys I still love on this. And Rogers has actually found his form a little. A terrible stretch after the first two starts of the year. So we'll see what happens with Baltimore's pitching. We'll see what happens, but it's one of the things, man. Also, too, I do have an update. Felix Bautista is starting to slowly move towards his return. I think, according to Ben McDonald, I think he's about to start throwing bullpen soon. So if he does come back, if the Orioles are still in the hunt near the end of the year, I think that's shout out Matt Ryrick. He was, my JMU editor at the Breeze, and I still call him a good friend, even though we haven't talked in a while. He's doing his thing at the Baltimore Sun. Proud of him. But I think he also said that was the likely return for for Felix Bautista would be end of the year, if anything. So that would be great. If the Baltimore Orioles were still in contention, I would like to see Felix back. Because Felix would be great for this bullpen. I think he'll be the closer, or setup. Either way, whatever role Felix will be in, I think he'll be consistent. I don't know. I don't know if he'll have life on that fastball like he did. He might still have life on it. It's just tough with the how many injuries he went through, and everything like that. But I hope he still has life in his fastball and with that nasty splitter. I'm hoping that's the case. If he does come back. But that's that. The reason it's on Wednesday since Sunday because I wasn't feeling great this past Sunday, and then Chris was 3 hours away from home, and I was like, I'm not feeling the greatest myself, so I don't want you to stop on the side of the road for kind of one of those episodes. So, we'll be back on our normal schedule this Sunday.
Yeah.
Lord willing, of course.
Right.
Nothing happens to us or anything like that, or I'm not sick, or Chris is not like 3 hours from home. And I mean, if I was feeling up to it and carrying the show, because I just, I just don't want him to lose connection if he's like 3 hours away, from home. I don't know. Like StreamYard might have worked. I just don't know with Restream.
Yeah.
So that was one thing. So that is the reason we're doing this Wednesday show, and then ended up being shorter because and pre-recorded because it had to be a shorter episode, which is fine. That not every episode needs to be the long haul kind of a deal, and everything like that. So that being said, the off the wall baseball, we'll have some big things coming up. We have All-Star Weekend coming up. We have the trade deadline in July, so July is going to be a big month here with off the wall. Definitely. I'm thinking I still have to get. I've talked to the basketball guys, Chris. I told them that your idea about streaming the Derby, and I think we might move that when it's the 13th. We'll move that episode to Tuesday, the 14th. And then you will be on. That's what if you're up for it, we can just have us and have it on in the background. I don't know what the rule. I mean, I don't want to have the audio per se.
Yeah.
Copyright, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want MLB to flag it, obviously.
Right.
So I think what we'll do is we'll just have us react to it. Have it muted on our TVs and stuff like that, and we'll just react to the winner or react to throughout, and that's what we'll do that Monday night. And then the Tuesday be the basketball makeup and then all that stuff. So that's the plan for that. Trade deadline for baseball will be, I think this week we'll probably start talking, maybe talk about some.
Yeah, we can start talking about some names that could be out there for sure.
Yeah,
for sure, and some teams. I mean, I already kind of just sort of did that.
We kind of talked about
I prefaced it a little bit,
stuff like that.
But what teams should be buying, what they'd be looking for, some names they could potentially be out there a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there's been the rumors with Baltimore with Buxton.
Yeah.
I've heard that too. I've heard Buxton's name come up.
Yeah.
I've heard when it comes to Baltimore, I've heard obviously some of the pitching names as well for Baltimore specifically. But we can get into some of the big names that will be out there. Then we might have some unexpected names too that you never know.
Oh, for sure.
Like if the Pittsburgh
There's
Pirates,
somebody that surprises, you just never know.
Yeah. If the Pittsburgh Pirates are like somehow struggling over the next month, and they decide, okay, we're gonna they do the Pittsburgh Pirate thing and move off of the big name, which I don't think they'll do. I don't think they'll move off Skeens yet. That would probably be a couple years down the road before they move off Skeens, but we'll see. But yeah, with that being said, Chris, promote your socials, promote Total Apex and everything like that.
Absolutely. As always, at Christian B or at Christian B617 or some combination of those letters and numbers are pretty much all my socials. I'm on everything. Still not really posting the way I would like to. Just too much other work going on and other things happening. But Total Apex is still posting over there. I'm obviously on the entertainment side, the gaming side specifically, but that seems to be the most active right now. But we also have sports going on as well. So we have some people on beats. There's been some talk on NBA, some stuff on, obviously the draft that just took place, so feel free to check them out as well, as always. So that would be Total Apex Sports and then Total Apex Entertainment. So feel free to check anything out there that you guys would like, for sure.
Yeah. I will be writing this week on the Ellis Orioles starting tomorrow. I've been meaning to write, but life's been busy keeping up with the podcast side of it from the Total Apex days. So I will be back writing on my blog. ellishighlightreel.wordpress.com is where you'll see that. I'll post the articles on Facebook, my Twitter, Instagram, all those socials as well. I might post them on my just do a post on YouTube too, linking the article if you want to click on my channel and just see the post there as well. Just do it as a community post there. Start doing that as well. That'll be starting tomorrow. Probably do an Eagles piece tomorrow and probably do a World Cup piece, overall thoughts on the World Cup. Friday, be editing as well some shorts from the last 2 basketball podcasts. I don't know if I'll have shorts from this one, even though the Orioles rant might be a great short to have, to be honest. Just because it's a shorter episode and everything like that. I might just if TikTok will let me post the whole thing, I might just post the whole thing on my TikTok, even though I don't know if many people will watch it. Just to have, since it's a shorter episode. But for going forward, I think I'll download the recordings of the lives and then do the shorts, when I can. With our podcast being on Sunday, I might be able to have time to edit, do some editing once I get the speed down on Sunday nights after we get done and get it up. But the basketball one, I might have to wait till Friday, later in the week, just because Monday nights is kind of tight. But if I get my speed up, I might be able to do it quick. That's the thing with CapCut. I gotta learn how to use CapCut. This, the reason I'm doing that is because this service on Restream is like $18 a week or something like that to do the clips.
Yeah.
And I'm not paying that.
No.
I love Restream so far. Don't get me wrong, Restream, you're great, but that extra 18, no, I can't afford it. But yeah, there's that. Like I said, Ellis Highlight Reel on YouTube. This episode will be on Ellis Highlight Reel YouTube. I'm hoping to I'll probably upload to my TikTok as well, Ellis Highlight Reel as well. I'll share the video from YouTube to my Facebook and my X. So my personal Facebook and my X. I'll also share the link to it on Instagram at _BLS32. X is 30BLS. So you should see that. See the links there on those socials as well to watch it. But that being said, this has been the 3rd episode technically. It's a little shorter, but that's okay. Not every episode has to be an hour long. So
right.
So that's the thing. So with that being said, holla at y'all. We'll see y'all Sunday night for a back to our live stream. So peace out, everybody.
Take care, y'all.